Yeah.
Hi, Falutin.
Tim in Rotterdam, how are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for waiting.
Hi. I had a question about the differences between secular society in Europe and religious society in the States, where I have a lot of friends from the States that I talk to regularly, and I have a lot of problems like talking to them about how they view religion. Whereas in Holland, I can just talk about whatever the fuck I want.
Well, what sort of problems? I mean, are they telling you to shut up, that you're not allowed to talk about such things? What exactly is the problem that you're having?
They just get really, really uncomfortable.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, how I go about this, I mean, obviously we're doing a TV show, but it's a call-in TV show, not a call-out TV show. I'm not calling up churches and people who were at church this morning to tell them about how I think they're wrong. As I travel, as I go about my day, at work and out in public, while I do have a number of atheist T-shirts and even an atheist tattoo and stuff, I don't go around necessarily starting conversations. For a long time, when I was a believer, toward the end of the time that I was a believer, religion didn't play that big of a role in my life. The period of time when I was in the Navy and early on working in the tech industry, I believed, but it didn't affect my daily life too much, and there weren't a lot of conversations about religion. I actually find I have more conversations now about religion after doing this, but I'm not usually the one that starts them. But yeah, people are going to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, for me it's just hard because I grew up just like Russell. Like I didn't grow up with any religion in my life, and I started getting involved with it when I started to see the detrimental effects it has on society, in my opinion. And it's become a pretty big part of my life, just thinking about it. And so people ask me what I'm thinking about, so I tell them. And then the conversation just shuts down. But maybe I should try to avoid it a little bit more.
Do you not have religious people in the Netherlands?
Oh yeah, there are, but
and they never ask you what you're thinking, and you tell them, and then they get nervous?
No, not so much, because basically most of the religious people down here, they say they're theists, but basically they are deists. There's just a really, really small part of society that is actually hardcore theists.
Yeah.
That's basically like 100,000 persons in the whole of the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So, and they're all together in our Bible Belt.
I think you probably have roughly the same reaction if you happen to talk to one of those people. It's just there's a lot more of them over here.
Or, it depends on how many fundamentalists there are, because, so one of the things that religion, and I use religion, I know it's not a monolithic thing, I know Christianity is not one monolithic idea, but I'm using it for shorthand. Religions are pretty good about building defense mechanisms in people. And so there are people who have these just bizarre religious beliefs that don't, a 6,000-year-old earth and, various miracles and ideas like this that just don't conform to anything that we understand in the normal world that the rest of us experience. And when challenged on those ideas, it's very difficult to present a logical, rational case with evidence to support those beliefs, and that's going to make people uncomfortable. One of the mechanisms, of course, is God can do anything and you just don't understand, or you haven't tried hard enough, or you haven't experienced it, or God doesn't want you to have evidence because that would destroy your free will, all that. But the other mechanism is to get away from fundamentalist and literalist views and go towards a more theistic, deistic view where, oh yeah, the Bible is, allegory and stuff that is there to teach us lessons, or whatever religious text we happen to be citing, is not so much about facts about the supernatural world, but teaching us things about ourselves. And so when you remove all of those obviously nuts portions of religion and you're just left with this kind of moderate or liberal theology that says, oh, I believe in a God, and I can't quite understand it, and I don't know all this other stuff, but I'm fine with evolution and science and all of that. Now all of a sudden it's not only more difficult to attack that, or to attack the claims and show where they're clearly not true, and so there's less to be bothered about or offended by, and less concern on their part. It's not they don't automatically get nervous because they have a position that is almost unassailable.
Yeah. You actually just answered my second question.
Cool. I'm really efficient today.
Yeah, you are. I have just one more quick note before I go. I would love to get in touch with you about me maybe translating the Sermon on the Mount that you did to Dutch.
The one on ironchariots.org?
Yeah.
Go ahead. All you got to do is create an account and create a language version of that page. Knock yourself out.
Okay, I will.
Thanks much.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye, Tim.